Guys, how you going? So today on BKRsport, we are back here for the final round of the NRL regular season. This is, it's been a long year, personally for me, with my team, obviously, but, you know, I'm looking forward to the finals next week. It's going to be really exciting as we see these teams go head-to-head in knockouts. You know, it's a really exciting time in rugby league. This week is kind of a bit of a dead week most of the time, especially this year too, because the top 8 is effectively locked off. I guess the most exciting thing that this week does have to offer is this first game, the Eels and Storm game, which is for that 4th positioning in the top 4. But besides that, the minor premiership's locked off. You'd effectively say that the top 8 is locked off, and you'd kind of effectively say the wooden spoon's locked off as well. So there's no real kind of things to play for here, besides pride and positioning, which is great. Obviously, we've got teams resting players like the Panthers, which I find pretty disrespectful. Not a shot at the Panthers at all. Obviously, every team does it every single year. You know, we get to this point of the season, and that's why it's just a little bit dead in this round. But in the same sense, it's something that I feel like we need to get rid of in our game. In the AFL, they have that week off beforehand where teams, you know, don't need to have that player rest buddy ambush in that last round because they've got that week off anyway. So yeah, look, it's just something that I feel like the NRL should get a hold of, because people are still paying for tickets to go to these games and supporting their team, and they still want to see a good product, you know what I'm saying? And this week, a lot of the time, it just isn't really that great of a product, realistically. But it is what it is. We have to deal with it this year. And like I said, not a shot at the Panthers, just a shot at the general kind of idea of this last round is a bit of a throwaway round. Yeah, it's pointless. So that's what I will say about that. But guys, obviously, if you guys didn't know, last week I got 7 from 8, so no punishment for me. Oh no, not punishment for me. If you guys don't know, if I don't get enough tips correct, then I do a punishment, which is done by you guys in the comment section. So this week, you have to go and do those comments again, guys. I didn't get punished last week. So this week, go in the comment section right now. Put your punishment for me to do next week if I do not get at least, I think it's 6. Yeah, I can only have 2 wrong. I can't have 3 wrong. I can only have 2 wrong. And if that doesn't happen, then we're going to be randomizing your punishments that you put in the comment section, and there we go. That's what we'll be doing into the future. So, geez, it's a tough week this week as well, because like I said, players being rested, teams playing, you know, for pride, who's going to give a shit the more, I really don't know. It really is tough. So, yeah, look, that's what we have to say. So let's get into the tipping, eh? Let's get into the tipping, and let's see who we think will take out round 25 of the regular season. But guys, before we do that, obviously smack that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new around here. We're going to be streaming a whole heap of games this weekend. I'm probably not going to do that Cowboys-Panthers game, because I think the Wallabies game is on at that time, and the Cowboys-Panthers game is just going to be an absolute shambles with 12 players or whatever from Panthers being out. So it's going to be a big weekend of rugby league. So, you know, definitely hit that subscribe button if you are new around here. And check out the vlog from yesterday. It's one of my favourite vlogs I've actually ever filmed on the channel from the Titans-Knights game. Definitely go and have a look at it. But alright, first game here is probably the biggest game of the lot, and that is the Parramatta Squeals. Parramatta Eels taking on the Melbourne Storm here at CommBank. Now, this is very, very hard to predict this one. I do incline to believe, like, I believe the Storm are going to win this game normally. Normally is what I'm saying there. But the Eels have had a good record over the Storm in the last couple of years. We all know the Eels can beat the good teams and struggle to the bad teams. The good thing for them in the finals is that they play only the good teams. So you'd expect them to win, right? Well, no, that's not Parramatta. Parramatta has this weird knack of, you know, doing what I just said and beat the good teams in the regular season and then completely capitulating in the finals. Now, I'm starting to believe a lot more in Parramatta as a whole. I still don't think they win it this year. However, I am starting to believe a little bit more in them. But I still go back to that same thought process that, oh, well, they're due a loss, because they are kind of due a loss. They've been winning well the last couple of weeks. This is for them to make the top 4. They then play Panthers, who they've got a good record against recently as well. I don't know. It's so difficult to predict this one in Sydney. I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going to go with my gut here. I'm going to say the Storm win and win it very close there at CommBank, just so that they can kind of because the Storm have been playing very well lately as well, mind you. I'm going to go with my gut. I think the Storm will reaffirm that they are a contender this year. I know they've been kind of doing it recently, but I think this will really kind of re-establish that Parramatta is Parramatta and Melbourne is Melbourne, in the sense that Parramatta they can't do it in the pointy end, and the Storm, they know how to do it in the pointy end. So I'm go out on a this is a tough one. This is tough. It's going to be a great game tomorrow night. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic game tomorrow night. I can't see this being a blowout. Yeah, I'll go Melbourne, but I'm probably going to be 0-1. Like, truly. But Melbourne are favourites, to be completely honest with you. I disagree with that. I think Eels should be favourites based on their recent history and also the fact that they're playing well too. I'm not too sure why they're not favourites, but I'll go the Storm on my gut. And I have to just go by that right now because all over the shop. Next up here, let's move on to the Bulldogs and Manly game, 6 p.m. on Friday. Ooh, yikes. This is not exactly a fun game to watch, I wouldn't say. I'm going to go the Doggies here. Oh, yikes. I just have a big yikes feeling about this game that both teams, they've really just given up on the season, realistically. You know, Manly, obviously, they after they lost the Titans by as much as they did, their season was done. And you can obviously tell after last week they got absolutely pummeled by the Raiders. And I don't even know what even they're playing for. Where are they even playing for? They're in 11th right now. They literally will finish in 11th. So this game means absolutely nothing to them. The Bulldogs, on the other hand, they are on 12. They're in 12th with 14 points. But I guess if results went against them this week and they lost this game, they could actually still finish in 15th. They could still finish in 15th, the Bulldogs. They would need, and they technically, mathematically speaking, they could finish in last, but they're not going to, obviously. But yeah, look, obviously, I'm going to take the Dogs here because they're probably playing for a bit more, maybe a bit more exciting. I think Manly have just moved on to next year and said, you know what, this season's done. I know Trbojevic, we've had a few injuries this year that have really not helped us, and yeah, they just don't seem like they're fully invested in the team as we speak. The Bulldogs, they played well for Nick Potter at the beginning, and then now they've slowly taken it away. People don't really realise this. When a new coach comes in, team usually plays quite well, and then we'll tinker away. And that's exactly what the Dogs have done here. I think this is going to be a terrible game. I really do. I think it's going to be a terrible game. There's a rivalry here between the Bulldogs and Manly, but I'll take Bulldogs. I'm not happy with it, and honestly, it is a 50-50, but I think the Bulldogs are playing for a little bit more than Manly, and the Bulldogs are at home. So yeah, I'll take the Doggies there. All right, next up here, big old game here. I guess there's still something to play for here between the Roosters and the Rabbitohs. The Roosters are the favourites here. This is the first game that will ever be at the new Allianz Stadium. I actually should have had that as my background. I'm not too sure why I didn't do that. But the Roosters and Rabbitohs here. Roosters are in 6th position with 30 points, and the Rabbitohs are in 7th position with 30 points. So effectively, this is just... Actually, just wait a second. Do the Roosters go above? Do either of these teams go above the Eels if they were to lose their game? Yeah, they would. So if the Eels are to lose this game, if the Eels are to lose that game against the Storm, the Roosters or Rabbitohs would jump above them because of their points differential. So whoever I tip to win this game, based on my previous selection of the Storm over Parramatta, would go into 5th position here, and Parramatta would drop down into 6th regardless of the result. Unless it was a draw, obviously, which I highly doubt there. That's interesting. So basically, this game is just playing for home field final. If Parramatta are to win their game, then it's just going to be these two teams again in a knockout next week, right? There's not going to be any changes unless the Raiders can jump either. No, the Raiders can't jump either, the Rabbitohs or the Roosters. So I feel like if Eels win, no matter what, it'll be Roosters versus the Rabbitohs next week. But it just will be either a Roosters home game or a Rabbitohs home game. I am going to go out there and say, geez, I'm going to go the Roosters here. Yeah, I'm going to go the Roosters here at home. They've been probably the better team towards the end of the part of the season. We've been saying since halfway through the year that they're a dark horse because all you guys were saying they're going to miss the 8, which I found ridiculous. And look at it, they're going to maybe, if based on my predictions, they're going into 5th position, which is quite wild considering where they were originally. I just think the Roosters are going to have a bit more about them here on Friday night. This is going to be a very close game, but there's just not really too much to be played for here. And I think Damien Cook might be out or he might be back. It's a bit up in the air right now because of the COVID policies. I'll go with the Roosters. Yeah, I'll go with the Roosters. But another really tough game to predict. I'll lock in the Roosters there. Very close one there. I'm going to click on the Titans here, obviously, in the women's game. Next up here, we go to the final game of the season here for my boys, the Gold Coast Titans, against the New Zealand Warriors in New Zealand. The Warriors are obviously going to be favourites for this one. They are going back to New Zealand again and obviously have a very, very good record against the Titans in New Zealand. I honestly cannot remember the last time the Titans beat the Warriors in New Zealand. I think the Warriors have really clocked off for the year, and I think the Titans obviously won a couple of games late on here, which has really shown for me that the Titans are still a good enough team, just need to fix that defense. And it's just been that end of part of the season where there's nothing to play for, so just go hard at it, and that's exactly what the Titans done. I feel like the Warriors probably do win this game as a Titans fan. I'm not going to lie to you. Usually I would tip the Titans, absolutely, but now that there's punishments involved, I don't want to throw away a tip there. But then again, also, I believe the Titans can win as well. You know, we beat them 44-0 last year at Seabus in this exact round. 44-0 that was. And then earlier this season, they won 20-18 at Seabus. The only reason that I feel like I'm probably going to tip the Warriors here is because it's in New Zealand, and this is their last game of the season. Just get up for it. Get up in front of the home crowd and really go hard at it. I think that, I think for me, I can't see the Warriors losing this game at home, especially with our record against them there. I just can't. I can't see us winning there. I would love to be proven wrong. I'm happy if I get proven wrong, because obviously that means my team won. But now that there's punishments involved, I want to get the tips correct. I'm not just going to throw away a tip if I don't think we can win. And I do think we can win. Like I said, we've got a good record against them in the last 2 games, but neither of those 2 games were in New Zealand. And like I said, I dead set think it's been about 13 odd years since we've won in New Zealand. And this will be a meaningful game for the Warriors in front of a sold out, packed out home crowd. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to go against my boys this week. But yeah, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I've enjoyed this season regardless of how low they are going to finish. And if I get proven wrong here, beautiful. That's exactly what I'd love to see. Prove me wrong, please. Prove me wrong. Alrighty, we move now into the 5:30 game on Saturday, which is the Dragons and the Broncos game. Broncos are technically fighting for their survival on the 8, but geez, they've been poor lately. Dragons, on the other hand, they just aren't great either. Nearly lost the Tigers there. They've had a bit of a mare of a season as well, but I don't know even how they're up as close as they are to the 8, even though they can't make the 8, but I can't believe they're even that high. I'm going to have to go with the Broncos here. I'm going to have to do it. Surely they give them something and force the Raiders to win that game against the Tigers on Sunday. The Broncos aren't going to... They're not going to make up the points differential alongside the Raiders winning against the Tigers. It's just probably not going to happen. But I think the Broncos, surely, with Paddy Carrigan back as well, I think Paddy Carrigan back will help them out quite a bit. They would need to win by a significant amount. And it could, truly, it's not crazy of a surprise the Broncos did win by a lot if they got back to their form they had mid-season, around that beginning part of the season, mid-season. But yeah, I'll get the Broncos to win here. I think that's a pretty lock. I think $1.60 is really good odds, actually. I think the Broncos really should be able to get that win and win it well, but not enough to overturn like a 50-point deficit or whatever it is over the Raiders. Alrighty, we move on to the Cowboys and Panthers game, and I'm going to be selecting the Cowboys here. This will lock up their spot in the top 2. Panthers have rested about 14 million players. Panthers obviously don't give a shit. They've already got the minor premiership there. I think the Cowboys at home should be able to, rump this one. Surely they win by a decent amount. They need to get back onto a real positive mindset. Going to the finals, they lost to the Rabbitohs last week. They need to get back into a positive mindset. Tommy Dearden back as well for the Cowboys. So, yeah, look, I think the Cowboys will win. And you can't lose this game. You cannot lose this game. You lose this game, be similar to how the Rabbitohs lost to the Panthers without clearing Luai last time out, but worse. This is like losing to that team that beat the Tigers midway through the season. Yeah, I can't see it. So I'll go with the Cowboys here. They should be able to get a decent win, lock up second spot, and they'll more than likely be playing the Sharkies in that week 1. It's a double chance. You're not getting knocked out. But let's move on here. We'll click the Knights there for the women's game against the Eels. Alrighty, so we've got the Knights and the Sharkies as the first game on Sunday. I think this is a pretty easy one for me after watching what I saw from the Knights defense. I'm gonna go by 20. Oh, it's at Newcastle. I'll go 14 to the Sharkies. I feel like the Knights have an okay record against the Sharks. I'm not too sure why. It's just me kind of my gut. I think the Sharkies will be too good here. They're a very good team. They did not look good at all the other day. They didn't look good at all against the Doggies. Was it the Dogs? I think it was the Dogs, yeah. They didn't look good at all. But they won, and they won it fine, but very disappointing effort for me. Obviously, it's that point of the season now. They're thinking about finals, so they don't really care too much about the regular season. They've already made the top 4. But you do still want to kind of get that home field final. I don't know. If the Cowboys lose their game, the Sharkies winning this game would put them into the top 2, which would get them a home final. But either way, you get a home final in the second week, regardless, if you lose. I don't think the Sharks will get a home final if they actually won that game against the Cowboys. And then week 3, I think the NRL would say, no, sorry, you can't have Shark Park there. We'll have to go to ANZ or Allianz or whatnot. I just don't think the Knights are good. I really don't. I was surprised that a lot of the NRL media pages put Dane Gagai as a very good player against that Titans. I know that obviously he scored a couple of tries or got a try late or an assist late, whatever. Was also horrifically defensively, and the only reason they ended up scoring a couple late was because the Titans were down a man for the last 30 minutes of the game, and the Knights still couldn't come back there, when the Titans are known for a pretty poor defense most of the time. So, yeah, I'll take the Sharkies here. I think they'll be too fast for them, too good for them, and defensively too solid for them. The Sharks are a very solid defensive team. We saw that against the Panthers. Yeah, I'm going to go the Sharkies there by a decent amount. Oh, there we go. We're already down to the bottom part of the tab, bottom part of the tipping. All right, well, before we get into that, we'll go with the Roosters Dragons. I have no idea. I'll go Roosters there. I'll go Roosters. All right, the final game of the regular season is the West Tigers and the Canberra Raiders. I find it mad that the Tigers are paying $3.50 there. Why are the Tigers paying $3.50? The Raiders need to win this game to win a top 8 spot. Why are they paying such short odds? Am I missing something here? I'm gonna click. Oh, you know what's funny though? I'll tell you a funny thing. I do get a weird feeling about the Tigers in this game because I know what the Raiders can be like as well. Like, I think the Raiders win, and I'm going to tip the Raiders. I'm not going to be silly here. I'm not going to be silly, but I'm going to say something quite silly. The Raiders have a very, very good record over the Tigers in the last 15 years, especially in the last game of the season. I remember 2016 when they had to play, the Tigers were playing for a top 8 spot. They played the Raiders, who, if the Tigers won, they made the 8. If they lost, the Titans would make the 8, and the Titans obviously made the 8 there. Raiders won by about 50 odd. And then we saw, the Tigers have a horrible record of around 25, mind you. We saw the Paul Gowan field goal a couple of years back against the Sharkies when they were fighting for their 8. The Tigers, I guess, are still technically playing to avoid the spoon, but they would have to make up like an 80-point differential there. Yeah, I get a weird... The silly thing that I'm about to say is that I get a really weird feeling about the Tigers. So I guess maybe that's what Sportsbet's thinking there with that $3.50 odds, is that the Raiders can be quite inconsistent. The Tigers, it's at Leichhardt. You know, maybe something could happen. I get the thought process, but I still think the Tigers should be like 550, 6-1. I really do. I still think they should be 6-1. Those odds, you wouldn't get on those other 350. It's just too small. It's just too short for a team in last place. So, yeah, I'm going to take the Raiders. They have to win to make the 8. If they lose, the Broncos will go above them. Broncos will get knocked out first week anyway. But, like, you know, at least you want to be in the 8. And that would be a gigantic collapse for the Raiders. I guess last year, though, the Raiders had a chance to make the 8 over the Titans and the Sharks. But, they lost. You know, they lost their game as well. So, it's not like the Raiders are necessarily experienced to win this round 25 game to make the 8. Surely. Surely. But there we go, guys. That should be my tips done here for this this cheeky little week here. Yeah, I honestly feel like I could be doing a punishment. I feel like this is a pretty tough week to predict. So if I get 5 or less, like I said, go into the comment section below. Put your punishment, whatever it is, chuck it in there. I'm only going to put realistic ones in, guys. Like, I'm not going to put anything crazy silly, like go and buy a $320 St. Louis Cardinals shirt and put Cherry Evans on the back. Like, it's not going to be happening there. But obviously, you know, I really don't mind. It's all good fun, and we'll do a randomizer next week if I do that. Obviously, hit that thumbs up button, guys, as per usual. I appreciate you, and subscribe if you're new around here, and I will see you guys for tomorrow night's NRL game between the Parramatta Squeals and the Melbourne Storm. Alright, guys, thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya.